Extra as we continue our coverage of the Nations Cup in Ivory Coast. My name is Afa Cho. Salifu Usman is also in the studio with me. Salifu, welcome to Sport Orbit Extra.
Thank you, Afa.
All right, on today's episode, we'll take a look at past matches, actually a review of the quarterfinal stages, of course, or during the weekend, the quarterfinal stages of the 2023 AFCON was wrapped up, and now we have the last 4 teams which will be going for the semi-finals, which will begin on Wednesday. But on this edition, we'll look at what has transpired so far, especially in the last 8 of the competition. Salifu, looking at the quarterfinal stages so far, you can say interesting matches we saw during the weekend for the quarterfinal stages, and overall you could say that this has been a fantastic tournament. In fact, all across medias from all across the globe, they have given a serious thumbs up to this year's AFCON. A lot have judged it to be the best in terms of the quality of play, even especially one surprising factor, especially when it comes to officiating. In fact, some media houses have said, look, referees in Europe should need to learn from the African referees on the proper use of VAR. You could see that even on the VAR decisions, most of the decisions have been very spot on. Officiating has been very, very brilliant. Quality of matches, the standard has been high, and you can see that the gap completely when it comes to African football has really closed up. And you could, especially with kind of surprises we witnessed, there are some teams that you would expect them to have come to this stage, but none of them made it. And interestingly, of all the teams who made it to the last 8 in the 2021 AFCON, none of those teams made it to the last 8. All the teams who made it to the last 8 last time out, all of them did not make it to the last 8 this time around. And it's interesting to see, well, a few surprises even in the knockout, in the round of 16, in the quarterfinal stages where we witnessed during the weekend.
Yeah, Afa, thank you very much. You have really shown us a very fantastic statistic there. I'm trying to give a background and a historical background of the African Cup of Nations. And I quite agree 100% in terms of officiating where you're starting from. Quite commendable, and quite give the thumbs up for the African officials who will be able to show that yes, when it comes to have to decide to take a decision in the round leader game, they have also come of age and they have fully proved themselves so far. Particularly if you measure this particular tournament in terms of officiating compared to what happened last 2 years ago in South Africa, in Cameroon, you definitely see that this is far better compared to what we can see in Cameroon. And I also commended the African players who have also learned fast in terms of being disciplined. I think the numbers of red card in this match so far has been very, very, very minimal compared to the last African Cup of Nations in Cameroon. Even just in the group stage, we recorded almost 12 red cards already shown to players. But so far, say the numbers of red card has been very, very minimal. And at the same time, in terms of the BR was most of the BR was imported to Africa. It didn't start with Africa, but just like I quite agree with you that it looked like the Africans have learned how to make use and take accurate decisions on the BR decision compared to what we normally witness on weekly basis in the European League, in the European Club League. Good fantastic result, and I commended the officiating officials. Fantastic performance they have done so far. Particularly if you look at the match between Nigeria and the last on Friday between Nigeria and Angola, Nigeria has to go roll out. If you look in the first place, except if you are watching from the Nigeria's angle and you are looking at that match based as a Nigerian, you disagree with the PR. The first goal, the Sami Azawi, the first goal. If you look at that goal clearly, you will tend to agree that yes, before Sami Ajayi scored that goal, somebody was in an offside position, and even the similar last minute goal from a cross from Ademola Lukman. we caught everybody surprised. Some people are just like, but they accept that Nigerians have also come to understand, yes, that Osimhen was just not all totally in offside position,
Like just small margins, yeah,
but just more margin of part of
exactly.
his part was ahead of
Yeah,
other
exactly.
ahead of the defenders. So and it takes very smart VR officials to point out just a step, and in football just a small margin, a little step gives an advantage, and that's what that goal was nullified. So I agree with you, and if you look at it, particularly even when this Africa Cup of Nations is going on, not forgetting that the Asia Cup is also going on concurrently. But the viewership and the followership of African Cup of Nations, Africa Cup of Nations, in terms of quality, you can't measure it what is happening in the Asia Cup. And I also bet with you guys, if you just don't if we will not be in a hurry to wash away our memory, and if you keep this competition, very soon we are going to have Europe competition. If you mention what we are going to win this in the Europe competition, Europe 2024, you agree that African football have come of age, and even the Europeans are also giving a kudos to the African Cup of Nations. Even former players, legends of the round the land game have also give kudos to how Africans have been able to raise the bar so far. The only pains I have is that this game is going on at the time when this player are supposed to be with their club. That's the only thing I could have seen.
All right, let's go into proper review of the matches as it happened over the weekend. Of course, first off was Nigeria Angola 1-0. It was for Nigeria, who booked their semi-finals ticket at the games of the Palincras Negras of Angola. Sweet victory it was for Nigeria in that one. Well, if you look at that game, not a troubling performance. You could see that another composed Super Eagles performance. The Angolans hardly, troubled the Eagles, apart from one or two shots. Mwabali saving a point blank, and a bar who was saved by the woodwork. But really looking at that game, the Angolans really didn't trouble Nigeria at all.
Yeah, even though going to the match, Nigeria, in terms of who has the advantage, Nigeria has an edge against Angola in terms of their previous meeting, and in terms of their ranking and the history of the previous team. Everybody will have intend to see Nigeria has an upper hand. But at the same time, if you look at an Angola performance in the tournament so far, you now intend to say if Nigeria make a mess up to Angola, they may be do so at their own peril. But fortunately for Nigerians, Nigeria was able to manage their game very composed, just like you say, and I give credit of that success of that match to the defenders, to the defender, not to the defender, and at the same time to Osimhen. Some people may not be seeing the Osimhen work rate in this competition, in the fact that he's not producing goal. So far, if you recall that going to these competitions, our worry has always been our defense. Like Super Eagles doesn't have a defense, but the defense has turned out to be the best organized department in the Super Eagles team so far. And why I say I give the credit to Osimhen is that Osimhen present on the pitch have limit the threat the opponent push could have pushed to the defender. Because when they see Osimhen at their front, so they always there's a limit to the extent they can go out to go and attack. And that's why I say people should commend Osimhen forward. The role he has played so far, even though not scoring the goal, his presence on the pitch have aided the Eagle defense, because the players, the opposing defenders, hardly come out to go in full squad to attack. They're always trying to wait for a counter, and which the Eagles have also tried to manage well so far. So I give kudos to the
even goals. You will see that even in cases where he hasn't scored, he has been involved, instrumental, because even in the Angola goal, if you watch closely, when he made that move, he took two defenders along with him, which opened up space.
That's what I said.
Which opened up space, exactly. In fact, even Simon himself said when he made that run that his plan initially was to pass the ball to Osimhen. Yes. But he saw that when he made the run, two defenders went with him, and a wide space was open for Ademola. And it was a simple pass which led to a goal. So you can see that his role, because anytime he moves, he diverts
attention. Yes,
exactly.
that is exactly what I tried to
exactly.
say. And
Yeah.
at the same time, I also commend Victor Moses for his ball saves.
Yeah.
He take a very sensible players and a very calculative players to have understand that no good, this guy has taken 2 defenders away. I'm not see the space coming. This guy is coming. Some naive player will say, okay, well, Osimhen is the star player on the play. Let me still have find the space to put in the trouble and to find a way out there. He will be able to get the defense. But I also that's why I say I also commend Victor Moses for his ball saves to understand that this guy Moses Simon, this guy has taken 2 defenders away and he has open space for Ademola Lookman.
Even before he made that pass, he won't slow down a bit.
Yes.
So that Lookman could arrive. Exactly.
Well.
So he slowed down a bit. So he was brilliant.
Osimhen adopted against the Cameroon when he won the ball from the defender.
Yeah.
He had an option to shoot at the goal, but he also that shoot at the goal may be counter productive. And I said that Osimhen has also he's not a selfish player.
Exactly.
If he's a selfish player and with the pressure on him, people looking up to him to score a goal, any opportunity they have, you have to let me score. But he slowed down and they saw that it opened space for another person to score the goal. So I've commented the Super Eagles have been fantastic performance so far. The only department I'm so much worried, and I believe every Nigerian has still expressed concern, is the midfield. The midfield have not contributed enough to grow. If you look at this guy, Alex Iwobi have not been too productive in this competition so far. But some people have said, well, you may not see what Alex Iwobi is doing. But Alex Iwobi, if you look at the formation we are playing, Alex Iwobi have a free role. They have allowed him as a free role to operate and to support the attack to pass the ball. But unfortunately, we hardly see him coming out to
Quarter final was Cape Verde against South Africa, which South Africa eventually won on penalties. It was 1-1. It ended in regulation time, but when into penalties, what a surprising penalty was as the South African goalkeeper, I mentioned, saving 4 good penalties in that one. Well, some have said, is it that